Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Hicks. I just recorded this application part, and it was 20 minutes long, so I'm gonna redo this. Uh, Hopefully, keep it in the 5-minute time slot, uh, with the exception of the question explanation. But anyways, let's get started. Not the first question yet, but I'll introduce myself a little more. I'm in the Air Force, active duty. Been in for 4 years now, a little over 4 years, and I signed a 6-year contract, so I have 2 years left. And I'm hoping to do skill bridge with a data science or data analytics position. Um, that's what I'm really passionate about. I'm majoring in data science from Arizona State University right now, and I currently live with my fiance. We just got engaged a few weeks ago, and then our two dogs. And let's get started with these questions. So tell us about a time you had to learn something new. What was it? How did you approach learning it? All right. So I just got back from a deployment about a month ago. I was in Kuwait for 7 months. Definitely not a bad deployment. There's a lot to learn there. So I'm stationed at Scott Air Force Base in Illinois, and with my job, logistics, it's different than any other base in the Air Force because we work at a computer, and all of our transactions are at the enterprise level, dealing with the scope of the entire Air Force. But when I was in Kuwait, we were doing all base level operations, which I've only learned about in tech school. So I was really excited to get that under my belt, especially because I'm testing for staff sergeant this year. And it'll help me a lot with all that on-the-job training, really help me put a mental picture to what I was actually learning in my technical training. So I had to learn the customer service function and also inventory. The first couple months I was out there, I was customer service, and then the inventory guy got forward deployed to Afghanistan, so that spot opened up. And since he was teaching me some stuff and I was helping him out, they ended up choosing me to fill that spot. So that was a really unique opportunity as an airman, just in E4. I ran my own section. It was just me in the section, but still, that's a pretty big responsibility, being the only inventory guy on base. So there's a lot more to it than just counting stuff. There's actually a lot of stuff that falls onto your shoulders. You're accountable for all the parts from pencils to propellers. So if something gets lost, you could be liable for it. And there's a lot of attention to detail that has to go into it. And I loved learning the job. I love learning new things. So my approach was take a lot of notes, listen to the people who have worked in the inventory section before, make sure I was always checking over again everything I was doing. I didn't want to mess anything up, and that was a pretty cool opportunity for me because I like to be able to rely on just making sure if I need something to get done, the quality of work. It was just me relying on myself to get it done. I didn't have to see if someone else was going to get it done since I was the only guy in the section. So that was cool. In hindsight, how would I do it differently? I think I handled it pretty well. Maybe, if anything, refer to the continuity a little more before asking questions. But at the same time, it was good to learn from other people with experience, and in some cases it was better than the continuity. So why am I interested in programming? So like I said, I'm majoring in data science. Data science and programming go hand in hand. You got to have a really strong background in coding to be a good data scientist. So JavaScript, Python's used a lot more in coding, but JavaScript, if I could be a fully proficient data scientist and also know JavaScript, so then I can do like maybe deploy dashboards and stuff, not having to rely on a software engineer to do it. I could have my own data science firm one day and be the software engineer as well. Or maybe during CodePlatoon, I might find out I like software engineering better than data science. So I do like JavaScript a lot. Learning it for this application was pretty exciting. I guess reach that time limit. So let's go to that third question. Take one of the programming questions from the Coder Byte assessment and then teach the solution. All right, so let's go. I picked challenge number 7. I liked the array challenges. They were a lot of fun. All of them were actually really fun. They were good challenges. They tested my mind. I actually did most of them on my last few days of my deployment, and then on the plane from Kuwait to here. But anyways, let's see. Have the function array challenge take the array of numbers stored in array, and from the position in the array where a 1 is, return the number of spaces, either left or right, you must move to reach an enemy, which is represented by a 2. So, let's see. The array will contain any number of zeros and 2s, but only a single 1. It may not contain any 2s at all as well, where in that case your program should return a 0. Okay, so my answer, this is my code for my answer. Just a little warning. I know it's not the most effective answer in the world. Probably not even top 10. But, no, it's effective, but maybe not the most efficient. But anyways, let's get started. All right, so the function array challenge takes in an argument, or an array. That's an array. So here, my logic was to create an array that would hold all the, or I guess since there's only one in each array, it'll hold the index of that 1. Okay, so then I created the array is this array. See, that's redundant. I know it's not efficient, but when I was doing it, that made sense in my head. Let's see, let element 1 equals 1. Okay, another redundancy, but that helped to clean it up in my head as well. So I know that that's the element I'm looking for. Let index 1 equals array dot index of, which is a built-in array method, of element 1, which is 1. So this built-in array method returns the index of the 1 in the array. Okay. So then I figured I would do a while loop while index 1 is not equal to -1. So with the index of function, array method, if it returns a -1, it means it could not find the value. So this is saying while index 1 is not non-existent, so if there is a 1 in the array, then this array called indices 1 would be push. So dot push is another built-in array method. It would push this element to the end of the array, into the array. So index 1, it would push the index of the 1 into the array, if that makes sense. And then we'll go here. I did the exact same thing with 2s, all the 2s. So in this case with the 1s, the array is going to be a length of 1 because there's only one 1 in each array passed into the function. But there could be multiple 2s. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, the array is going to be a length of 3. So the exact same thing. And then also an if statement, if indices 2 equals 0, so if there's no 2s in there, like they said would happen, it would return 0. So that was, it may not contain any 2s at all as well, where in that case your program should return 0. So check that. um, and then I figured, okay, I have these two arrays that I need to compare to each other. So I need to get the differences of them. So I created another array called differences. At this point, this console log was just to check. It's a good way to know where you're at. I use console logs a lot. I think I just deleted the other ones, but this one I just commented out, showed what my ones were, what my twos were. So in this case, I'll show you what it would be though. All the ones, my array would be just an index of 0. So my array would just be 0. Okay, and then the twos right here would be plus indices 2. So it'd be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So my array would say 4, 5, 6. So it'd be 0 and 4, 5, 6. All right, so remember that. That's important to know. So now I did a for loop, a nested for loop actually, and then so I said for the index in indices 1 dot length, which should be length of 1. It would go through, and for every 1, it would look at each index of the 2's, and it would calculate the difference. So then it would add to the differences array the absolute value of the index of the 2 minus that index of the 1. So in this case, it would be 4 minus 0. So it's going to add to the differences array of 4. And then it would iterate through and it'd do the same thing and say 5 minus 0, 5. 6 minus 0, 6. So the array of differences right now, this differences array, at this point would be 4, 5, 6. So now what I did, I was taking the minimum of that array, but it wasn't accepting at this point, so I had to split it. So I used the built-in array method of split, and I split it with these quotation marks. So it says 4 in quotations, comma, 5 in quotations, comma, 6. Okay, so that's split diff. Okay, now I'm finding the minimum distance. So take split diff, which is the differences array, split up with these, and I would use the math package to find the minimum value. So it would say, what's the minimum value between 4, 5, and 6? Since it's absolute value, even if the 2 was on the left, it would calculate that. Not to confuse you anymore. But then, so that's the minimum different distance, and the return, it would return the minimum distance, and in this case, that would be 4. So 4, 5, 6. It would return 4, 4. Boom. And just like that, that's how I approached challenge 7. And as time goes on, especially if I get accepted into this cohort and I get to do CodePlatoon, I know my solution in the future would probably be a lot more efficient. And I'm also reading Eloquent JavaScript right now, and just learning those regular expressions. I know my code would get cleaned up a lot. I did actually use a couple during the application on some other questions. But anyways, yeah, I'm really excited about this boot camp if I get accepted to it. And thank you for your time.